tough times than to talk about my friend Joseph. For certainly those of you all that know his story, how many of you know he had some tough times?
Oh, yeah.
But the good news is, in spite of how difficult it was and how dark it was, Joseph continued to be a man that trusted God, even when the times were tough.
Yes, sir.
And in the time of this text that we read in chapter 45, verse 8, it appears that Joseph is looking right at one of his siblings, speaking to them collectively, knowing that there was a past that existed between them. As he looked at them, they were a stark reminder that your past has been tough. However, he took his eyes off of the past and looked at the present and realized that he was who he was, not because of what people did to him, but rather because of what God had done for him. And he was able to speak to his siblings in the same manner that some of us in this place need to abandon yesterday and yesteryear and look at what God has done for us and say, in spite of how dark it was, in spite of how tough it was, in spite of how difficult it was, I made it, and I only made it because it was nobody but God. And you gotta learn how to realize when it was no one but God that gave you access to moments and things in life. You got to understand, when you stay connected with the Father, it gives you access to things that you would not have been able to do on your own. And that's why children of God can smile when it gets tough and when it gets rough. Because when folk think you're finished, you just look at them and say, you don't know whose child I am. I shared with our folk a couple of months ago about some experiences that I had as a child. And at the end of our street, Hickory Street, we could make a turn on one of those side streets, and we'll go right behind the store called Wonder's Grocery. And sometimes my mother would send me to Wonder's Grocery to get a loaf of buttercrust bread, get some juice and get some milk. And they had established there at Wonder's a credit line where I didn't have any money. Just want to put a sticky note there, I don't have any money now. But that was all right, because when I went up to the cash register with the juice, with the buttercrust bread, and with the milk, I put it on the register, on the counter, and they would ring it up, and I would look at them, and I would say, charge it. And it was all right, because they knew who my daddy was. Now, before I left the store, Wonder's Grocery, they had a little stand right there on the counter that had candies like Chico Sticks, Jolly Ranchers. Come on and talk to me if you can. And I would grab one or two items and put it up there. I'm sorry, Daddy. And I would put it up there on the counter, and I would say, charge it too. And I would walk down the street eating my Chico Sticks, and walk down the street eating Jolly Ranchers, and I hadn't paid a thing, and it was not because of who I was. Somebody knows where I'm going. But it was merely because they knew who my daddy was. And there's somebody in this place right now. When we walk out of here in the next couple of minutes, you're gonna go and get in a car that you don't even have to use a key to start.
All right.
And when you bought that car, the truth is you went looking for one kind of car and they convinced you to get another one. And you knew what your paycheck looked like, but God. Matter of fact, when you get home, you're going to go to a house that is maybe much bigger, much nicer than the house you grew up in. And you know you did nothing special. But you're able to go into a house and have air, and you remember the days as a child when you used to put a stick in the window. Put a box fan. Come on and talk. Don't get silly in the city. You remember what it was like to have a screen door and you know, not have a temperature thermometer, thermostat in the house. It was just, if it was hot, it was hot. If it was cold, it was cold. But look at you today. You can go home and you can have one temperature in one room. You want to go lay down, you can turn some numbers, and the bed feel one way on one side and one way on the other side. And when you were a child, it just felt like it felt. And when you look at where you are now, the truth is, if you're not too stuck up, and if you're not too forgetful, you can realize that what you got was not because of you. But how many of you can truly know